You're watching The Ugly Inside? Subscribe below.
Welcome back to the brand new Premier League season. This is the return of the prediction series where we predict our starting 11 for the weekend's fixture. So joining me this week to give us his predictions and his opinions, and once again joined by Luke from readsouthampton.com. It feels good to be back, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Yeah.
So Watford at the weekend, it's been a bit of an experiment so far this pre-season, but you're the manager, I'm putting you in charge. Talk me through your starting 11 to play Watford on Saturday, mate.
Right, well, for me, you can't really look beyond Forster in goal. He's had an alright pre-season, but at the end of the day, he's not really had too much to do. But from a back four, there's going to be a bit of debate as to who starts at right back, of course. Given the fact that we're a bit spoilt for choice there. We've got three options. If Cedric's fit, obviously he's got to play for me. But you do wonder whether he has had enough of a pre-season to start. And I've got a feeling that I think Claude will probably go with him, but he might be tempted to go with Jeremy Pierre because he looked quite good against Bilbao, I thought. But I'd probably go with Cedric.
Okay, back two. I'm only assuming it's a back four because that's what it's been like in the last pre-season. So I think it's unanimous that it's going to be a back four.
I think obviously you're going to have Virgil van Dijk there because you can't drop him. You can't drop him for anything. You know, I think he's a player in the team and he will start. The next one's a bit interesting. Jose Fonte, I don't know. Is he going to be mentally ready? Is he going to be physically ready? I don't know. Yoshida's had a good pre-season, but he's got a mistake in him. That's the only thing. I think I'd probably risk it and go Fonte.
Okay, and left back, for people that haven't heard the news in the last couple of days, Claude Puel said today in his press conference Ryan Bertrand will be ruled out for the game on Saturday. So there's really only one choice for me. So who would you put at left back?
Oh, it's got to be Matty Target, isn't it? Yep, it's got to be Target. I think he looked quite good in the Bilbao game. I thought he looked pretty promising down the left-hand side. So, yeah, I think I'd comfortably go with Target. I think when you consider that last season he started in the opening against Newcastle away, I'd say he's come a hell of a long way since then. He looks like a much more polished, a bit more well-rounded player, and I think I feel quite comfortable with him at left.
So let's move on to midfield then, mate. This is where it gets interesting because there's been two systems during the pre-season, 4-3-3 or 4-4-2 diamond. So personally,
it's going to be a 4-4-2 diamond. I think that works for us because I think we can make the pitch quite narrow, yet still manage to use the width. I think that's what will enable Target to get forward and to bomb forward as much because I think we're finding a lot of space down there. And of course, I think Puel really does like it, and it does suit it suits the team because we've got so many midfield options. So I reckon he will go with the 4-4-2 diamond.
So who's up the defensive holding midfielder then? Are you doing perhaps even a 4-2-2-2 as two holding midfielders or a 4-1-2-1-2?
Yeah, it's all complex, isn't it? I think I'd probably go with a 4-1-2-1-2. I think I'd stick Romeu at the base of the diamond just purely on the fact that although I like Clazy there and I like Højbjerg there, it's got to be Romeu just for how good a defensive player he is. I feel as though when he's protecting the defence and when players run at him, I think whether he makes a strong challenge or he puts in a horrible tackle, because it happens a lot with him, they won't get past him. I think he's just our battering ramp in the middle. And I think that's going to be key against Watford.
And I think Romeu, you're right, he's going to be key for us. And not only against Watford, but I think he's going to have an outstanding season because he will even come out the shadow of Victor Wanyama from last season. You know, he stepped in for those 5 games that Victor was suspended last season. And for me, he flourished. So, again, I would agree with Romeu as that tip on the diamond. But I'll get into my team a little bit more. But let's move on to your team. Who's the rest of your midfield, mate?
I think just slightly to the right of Oriol, I'd stick Stephen Davis, just purely on the fact that he's indispensable to this Southampton side. I think if there's one man in the team that will dictate the tempo of the game, if there's someone who's going to control everything, he's going to dictate everything, he's going to be a box player, it's him. He's got everything. He was excellent last season, and there's no reason why he can't push on this season under Puel.
And who's going to partner him in the centre of midfield?
Then it's between James Ward-Prowse, Jordi Clazy, or Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. But in that, I think there's only one winner, and that's Pierre. I think that in pre-season he's looked absolutely outstanding. He comes with a massive reputation. He's very Schneiderlin-esque, I think, in the sense of how box-to-box he is, how calm he is on possession, and how he just glides past play. For me, we've got to be looking at him to be a key player this season, and we've got to be looking at him to be starting near on every single game.
So who would you play in the number 10 on the tip of the diamond, if you like?
To be honest, I think we're sort of left with one, haven't we? We've got Dusan Tadic there. I mean, and that's not a bad thing that we're left with one, because at the end of the day, he is an excellent creative player. I think he's got all the makings to be a number 10. He's got creativity, he's got an eye for a pass, he scores goals on the odd. I mean, obviously I'd like to see him shoot a bit more, but then wouldn't we all? But yeah, I like Tadic there, and I think he'll be the link between the midfield and the strikers.
I think we're quite blessed with centre midfielders, actually. We've probably got about eight centre midfielders that are dying for those 4 berths in the midfield. So up top, then you're going to play two up the top, or a 1-1.
Yeah, I'd probably go 2 up top. Yeah,
I think I know one of the names on that team sheet, but let's have it.
I think we know that Rodman's going to start.
Okay.
I think that Puel, he sees a lot in him. I think that I mean, even when he came in, we all thought, why have we just signed a player when we've not got a manager? But it's exactly the type of signing that Puel would endorse. He's a young English player. He's keen, he's enthusiastic, and it's interesting that he's been used up top, because I wouldn't have thought that myself originally. However, Puel sees a player there, and even in today's press conference, you could see that he was really keen on him, and he sounded quite positive about the prospect of having him up front. So I think that Redmond is going to start, and I think deservedly so after such a good pre-season.
Finish off your team then in the other striker's position. I think I know this one, but
again, I think I don't see the need for another striker. Like, I think we're quite spoilt for choice there. I know you could say whatever about injuries or whatever. Let's exclude that, because we have got such good quality up front. For me, tomorrow it's going to be Shane Long. Not tomorrow, Saturday, sorry. It's going to be Shane Long, just purely based on the fact that Austin and Rodriguez both started in the under-23 match. I was quite surprised at that, but then I suppose if they're not going to start on Saturday, then it's best to get them even more minutes and maybe extend their pre-season.
Cool. Well, it sounds like a very interesting and attacking team. So let me talk you through my starting 11 then. So up top in the sticks, only one man. It's got to be Fraser Forster. There's nobody else that's really going to challenge for those gloves in the sticks. Unfortunately for Alex McCarthy, he was only brought in as a backup, and we know he's only going to come in, God forbid, if Fraser gets injured. Back 4 for me. This is where it gets. I'll go from left to right, actually, because I'll start on the other side and then come across. So left back, Matty Targett, easy one for me. You know, Ryan Bertrand's been ruled out. Sam McQueen, he's going to be on the bench, likely be on the bench anyway. Van Dijk is going to sit alongside him, and this is where it gets interesting, because I've gone a bit left field in my selection today, and I'm going to go with Mayo Yoshida. You know, like you said earlier, he's had a good pre-season, but he's got that mistake in him. And there are question marks over Jose Fonte's fitness, his mentality. But I just don't think he's ready to play 90 minutes yet. He only played 45 minutes against Bilbao last weekend. I think there's very much the same story with Cedric. Again, extended holiday alongside Jose Fonte. Only played 45 minutes against Bilbao. So at right back, I'm going with Cuca Martina.
Interesting.
Like Yoshida, Martina's had a lot of minutes in pre-season, and I feel like Pierre is probably not ready either. He's coming late to the squad. He's not had a full season, full pre-season. He's done his own sort of fitness training schedule before he signed for the Saints. Obviously, I don't think he's ready either. But I think Pierre, Cedric, perhaps they'll both be on the bench. Pierre might even come on as a late substitute in the last 10 minutes as a right back or right midfield. But the rest of the squad is pretty much the same. I would agree. I've actually made some last-minute changes whilst you were talking about it. Originally, I had Romeu, Classy, Davis, Tadic, but I think the points that you made about Højbjerg, a box-to-box midfielder, is going to offer so much energy to the squad, and it'd be quite refreshing to see, the new signing play on Saturday against Watford. So yeah, just to run through my midfield, it'd be a 4-4-2. 4-4-2 diamond with Romeu as the holding midfield, Pierre, Emil Højbjerg alongside Stephen Davis and Dusan Tadic in the number 10. And again, a last minute change. I originally had a Shane Long to partner Charlie Austin, but again, there are doubts over his fitness. Him and Jay Rodriguez played in the under-23s the other day, and that's probably a sign of that he's probably not match fit, let's be honest. So Shane Long up top with Nathan Redmond offering that devastating duo of pace.
Yep.
So there we have it, guys. Let us know your starting 11 in the comments below. Let us know your score predictions as well, and where do you think Saints will finish this season in the Premier League. Don't forget to check out Luke's predictions and opinions over on readsouthampton.com. If you like the video, like, share and subscribe for more. Cheers, Luke.
Thank you.